Good morning, friends. My name is Shelby if you are new here, and I sorely have my work cut out for me right now. Oh my goodness. I feel like when we first got home in July, because we had been gone for a few weeks due to some home renovations, it wasn't this bad. I'm just now able to get back out here and start tending my garden officially. Oh, it is an absolute mess. I've never ever let it get this out of control. I am here today to start pulling all of these weeds. There's no way I'm gonna be able to get everything done within one day. It's just a tremendous amount of work. I don't know if the videos are going to do as like an illustration justice of just how much work is going to be had in this garden. So with that said, let's get going. My plan is to start with the raised beds first. This raised bed actually started to collapse, but I still don't want a bunch of weeds in it, and I can still grow in it until I replace it. So I'm gonna start revamping the raised beds little by little every single day until we get another chip drop, and then I'm gonna focus on the in-ground beds. It's not a one-day solution. This is a tremendous amount of work, but if I stay persistent, I think by the time like mid-September comes around, I'll be in a place where I can at least start planting in the beds that I prepare and get a succession garden going to some level. I'm trying to avoid getting bit by a ton of bugs that are just super happy in this environment that has been created. Honestly, these weeds are coming out way easier than I anticipated them to. And the cool thing is right now, in this particular area, which you will see in a minute once I get done pulling the weeds, is there's a lot of basil growing still, which I did not expect any basil to still be growing out of all the things. So here, now you can probably see it. Whew. It just smells like a perfume of sweet basil, which is a nice little pick-me-up, because it's about 90 degrees out right now. Believe it or not, it's actually not as hot as it was a few weeks ago, which is another reason why I'm getting out here now. And I waited so long because it was too hot to get out here. But this bed, it's cleaning up pretty quick. So I feel pretty optimistic now. When it comes to facing an overwhelming task like this, it is so easy to just continue to push it off. But to me, the biggest hurdle is just getting started. Once I get started, I won't stop. That's just the type of person I am, and I'll obsess over it, and I'll make it a priority. I miss being out here. I miss my kids coming out here and being super excited and finding little garden treasures to harvest and just having this be like a part of our family. So this is going to be something that I come out for the next few weeks, like day and night, because really once it gets to be like 1 or 2 o'clock, it's too hot to be out here. But you know, later in the day you can come back out here. So I try to go out super early as soon as the sun rises, like 6 a.m. and then I take a break. Okay, bed number 1 is mostly done. And honestly, those really bushy weeds, I think, were doing me a favor because they were kind of making the grass problem a little bit less intense. And when it comes to pulling weeds, grass is my all-time least favorite weed to have to manage, which, I mean, is grass a weed? I don't know. But they get in the beds and it's a huge mess and they get really out of control. So that was way easier than I anticipated. On to the next. Okay, I need to tread lightly with this one because there are so many bees and different bugs just really having a heyday right now. You know, ooh, okay. Just gonna start digging in. And if you know what type of weed this one is that I'm pulling out, definitely let me know, because although it is prospering, it's actually doing me a favor because we have hardly any grass at all in these beds. And it's really easy to pull out. I really hope I'm not gonna have some kind of like allergic reaction. Oh, this smells like dill. It kind of worries me. I know there's like another plant that smells and looks like dill that is not dill, and you're not supposed to eat it. So, I don't know. Holy cow. Okay. If you know what plant that was, let me know. I hope I don't have some crazy allergic reaction to getting that all over me. All right, so this bed has a lot of really little individual weeds from the plants that I just pulled out, which is to be expected. So what I do is I utilize cardboard, and I'm just gonna lay that on top of the bed and just put something weighted on top of it. This is going to prevent those grass tubers from thriving right now, and those plants from actually just turning into further weeds. So we're just smothering, and that's what I do a lot with this garden. I layer, I smother, I try to minimize the amount of tedious work that I have to do with my hands. And I just pull out kind of like the bigger stuff, and I let the cardboard or mulch do most of like the detail work. Whew. I'm nowhere near ready to start like seeding these beds, and this is just going to act as a natural like tarp basically in the meantime, and eventually it just breaks down. So I know some people don't like using cardboard. They have mixed opinions on cardboard in the garden, but I do it and it works really well, and you know, that's what I do. This bed is mostly done. Well, it is done, and when the time gets closer to actually start putting some of my starts that I started last week, I will start to enrich it with mulch, like a layer of mulch, and then I will put some soil on top of that, and then just directly start getting those starts in the ground. But that's gonna buy me some time and make it so I don't have to do double work putting the cardboard over the top. Because if I just leave the beds exposed at this point, any type of seedlings or grass tubers or anything like that are going to have access to the light, and they're going to just start thriving. So keep that in mind, whether you have cardboard and you're trying to revamp your garden beds, or you have a tarp, just anything to smother the light from those particular plants if you're not ready to start getting the crops in there. Bed number 3. This bed is really similar to the other ones as far as the types of weeds that are taking over. So let's get it cleaned up. Oh my gosh. Cool, I found an onion. I just found a few red onions that I missed harvesting. We're making good progress. I was definitely building this up in my mind more than I needed to, and I'm just glad to be back out here. Is it ideal to do this in like the hottest time of the year? No, but if I don't do it, then I'll never have a garden again, and I won't be able to garden in honestly the best time of the year to garden in Florida. The next 3 seasons back to back to back are really magical times. The fall garden is number 2 in my book, if not like almost as enjoyable as the spring garden. You can just start to thrive again, and I think it's almost like, maybe it's compared to what it's like for people up north with the snow, where it's suddenly nicer temperatures. You can get back out there and start gardening in the spring. You look forward to it so much. I feel like in Florida, a similar scenario, although you can grow all through summer, is when we transition from summer to fall. So of course it's not as severe of a change, but we're finally able to start gardening in temperatures that are not like dangerous, you know, heat advisories, and the plants can actually start to thrive and the weeds really calm down. It makes it super hard to garden in the summertime, and it honestly can be super frustrating. And then a lot of people might give up because they just go, gosh, what is the point in doing all this work when there's just constantly weeds? My plants are constantly being demolished. And especially a new gardener might not realize that's just kind of how it is in Florida in the summertime. So I wouldn't say don't have a garden in the summertime, but it's definitely a lot more challenging. So I try to pare down in the summer as much as possible and just focus on prep. Oh my gosh, there are so many onions in here. This is crazy. Look, here's another one. Look, 4 or actually 5 red onions. I picked 2 just a second ago. I think there's some shallots. Oh my gosh, it smells good. There are all kinds of smells going on. There's like basil and onions and a weed that smells like dill, which I know that it's not dill. So there's a whole lot going on, which is really cool. The fall garden for me is just that new opportunity, and we get to grow things that we can't typically grow with ease through the winter time, and it's just, there's so many possibilities, and things kind of take it down a notch. Like everything just slows down, which I do think is really important for people to take a break every year and seasonally slow down. And that's what the fall and the winter garden offer for us down in these really hot climates. And then of course into spring, and it's, you know, full throttle again. Okay, got that one done. Makes me feel so much more positive that we're making progress. I mean, the size of these 3 beds alone is enough to have some type of fall garden if all else fails and I don't get to everything else. I probably look like an absolute mess right now, honestly. I know oh my gosh, look at all these butterflies over here. Hold on. I just had to show you guys that. I know I have my work cut out for me. I only got 3 beds done today. It is super, super hot. I'm just gonna chip away and get the core of the garden done. And I honestly think I'll get it done in less than a week at this rate. The biggest challenge is going to be working on my in-ground beds, which again, I'm building it up more in my head than I need to, honestly. I'm telling myself, oh my gosh, this is gonna be like a insane challenge, when I bet once I do get out here, it'll probably be easier than I thought it was gonna be. You tell me, it's a lot. It is, I'm no lie, it's a lot. I'm gonna order a chip drop so I can have more mulch, which is going to be essential. And I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on. So thank you guys for tuning in. Might not have been the most exciting video ever, but it had to happen. And I do plan on getting more of my seeds started. That fall garden I'm going to be taking really seriously. And until next time, bye.